Hi, Magnify Sisters. It's Brooke Walker. Here's what I know. I am pretty confident in saying that we all want to make good things happen in our life, right? Good things. Our hearts are full of the question, though, are we on the right track? But are we trying too hard? There's a saying out there, let go and let God. Is that something we could do more of? My guest today has some thoughts on this. I'm going to be joined by the wonderful Emily Snyder. While I may have only crossed paths with her a few times before, we only really first met a month ago, but it was what I like to call a light of Christ connection. You know that click? Like we all have the light of Christ, but every once in a while you meet someone and it's like you tap torches and you sort of feel this instant friendship. And that's the kind of connection I think all women get from Emily Snyder. I'm not unique to that connection. You can, though, draw some instant connections from her resume as well. Like she is a former school teacher who once described her time in a low-income sixth grade classroom as heaven. With that, I think, comes instant admiration. She worked closely with Clay Christensen at Harvard, instant credibility. She worked for the Magnolia brand of Chip and Joanna fame, and with that is an instant girlfriend connection right there. And she currently works for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, trying to understand and improve women's experience in the church. To that, I have instant intrigue. All of this adds up, though, to a connection that we're so excited to flex and relish in today. Emily Snyder, welcome to Magnify, sister.
Oh, thanks. So good to see you again and get to have a good long chat and just share.
More time this time than last time.
Yeah. Thank heaven.
We were in kind of a Fast and Furious studio setting and it was short, but I loved you dearly instantly, and you hear that all the time. We need to start with congratulations because they are in true order. Share your happy news. It applies to what we're talking about today, but we just want a girlfriend celebrate it anyway.
Oh, you're so nice. I'm engaged to be married.
Say it again just for fun.
Okay. I'm engaged to get married. I'm getting married.
We have to hear the story. We have to hear.
Oh, I'm so happy to share because the thing actually in planning the celebration, I just keep thinking this is, and I will totally weep, but this is not just my story. Like I feel like it's our story in so many ways. So I was invited to speak at Women's Conference this last May and painfully prepare a talk to speak in the Marriott Center, which was so not up my not
Does
my
intimidation come in a stronger form?
Oh
I
my
can't
gosh.
even imagine the overwhelm.
And the teleprompter. The teleprompter was the worst part, that I was like, oh, you're going to keep me to a script? Like, that's not.
Oh, I have to say what I said I was going to say?
I know. And they hate me because I didn't as well as I'd hoped. But in that, I was very honest and I hope appropriately candid about journeys and life and how I've come to know a covenant relationship with Jesus Christ because of getting to be single. And the concept of being pursued by God is such a powerful headspace paradigm shift for me of, oh my gosh, this isn't a duty-bound conversation. This is a pursual and an anxiously wanting to spend time with me and be in my presence just as much as I then want to choose to be in God's presence and to be molded by Jesus Christ. Whatever I said in the talk, there was a young woman, 25, married, was there with her mother-in-law, who had a nudge and had a feeling and DM'd me and was wise. I found out later, has well thought through her sliding into my DMs of like how to.
She had a pitch? Was it a pitch?
Yeah. She made some great comment about my talk. And then as I responded, said, okay, here's the awkward part. My mom passed away 4.5 years ago, and my dad has not dated since then. And he's an incredible man and did this really beautiful tight bio. He's 52. There's 3 of us kids and and the youngest is a senior in high school. And he's a chiropractor and wellness doctor. He teaches gospel doctrine. You could crash and see him in person. He hates social. He's not on social. So here's my picture.
She was laying it out there.
She literally, like, it was masterful, like the tightness of this bio of just like, and she said, would you be interested in meeting him? Well, for those that enjoy the singles of reality, it's like, sure, sure, sure. Because the
You
likelihood,
hear these do you hear these comments, these invitations, these
yeah,
questions all the
it's
time?
like, that's so kind. I'm receiving that. And the likelihood of this actually turning into an interaction with some man is like, psh, no way. And so I was like, of course, sure. And, thinking at the time, happy to welcome him back to singlehood, like into the waters. The water's fine. Here's how you navigate here.
Oh, you were
And
volunteering to be his, like,
yeah,
therapy support animal. I'll be your coach as you
totally.
come back to this
Because
pool, this game.
I'm pretty good at that space. Like, I'm pretty good. Like, it's great. There's so many pros in this world. And then she said, he's interested. Do you have a contact number? So I did. And I said, but I'm heading out of town for the next couple of weeks. So, but we could text, whatever. And then I got this text. I'm on a flight to Europe and I get this text from Trent saying, my name is Trent Burrup. My daughter, I guess, is trying to set us up. I don't even know if you're seeing somebody or not. Like, is there time that we can move this an awkward texting to an awkward phone call? And anyway, I was like, oh, cute. Good job. And it was like, not awkward, and instantly just started texting back and forth on the airplane. And I had told my friend that I was with, like, after he texted, I was like, okay, so this is the story. And she's like, and you said yes, that you would meet him? I was
Who
like,
are you?
well, I mean, why not? And she's like, you are more socially adventurous than I am. That's
But you know what? Can I just pause and applaud, first of all, his daughter for that nudge and
oh
taking
my
that leap?
gosh.
Like, her wisdom, her maturity, her bravery, all of it. And then you did say yes, and he did say yes. I mean, we can pass this off as just a quote unquote setup situation, but it does take not just spiritual, adventurism, but like bravery and
Yeah.
faith. It takes faith.
Yeah. Well, and she has never done something like this, that she would never walk into this space if she didn't feel something strong enough and a nudge enough. And her thinking was, this woman would be best friends with my mom. And so how do I, like, there's got to be something. So she and her,
Was that so tender for you to hear? I
so
mean,
sweet. So
delicate, sensitive, personal situation, but what a compliment.
yeah, so many. I mean, to have their mom, that you just put up. My mom's on a pedestal currently, and you know, of course, 4 years, 5 years later, even more so. And so to feel like she would be willing to even. So yeah, so many things
Mhm.
on that side. So we got 2 weeks of no pressure, no like thinking this has to be anything. And it just got to be friends and back and forth of just like, what do you like? What do like we just kind of did
Yeah.
get to know you questions in the space.
But then you say the best friend title came really quickly, like from friends to
Did.
best friends.
Yeah. Like, because we had those conversations, this whole journey has been a level of choosing to trust and seeing
Mm,
witnesses of trust that I can trust this man. Because doing life, yes, with my amazing family, but largely walking my own journey in many ways, choosing to trust and knowing who to trust and just not wanting to be a burden and what to allow people to help me carry, I think is
yes.
a constant navigation we all have, but especially
Sure.
in this space. The friendship began, but the best friendship I feel like began and was like, yep, I choose you. I choose you to be who I trust because I see it over and over again.
I see it. You manifest it. You
Yeah.
demonstrate it. You live it.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't just trust. I mean, there are many, I know life lessons and belief systems that you've celebrated through this personal journey in this relationship, but you wrote a beautiful Instagram post.
Mm.
And if anyone wants to go just relish in the joy of sisterhood, it was so sweet to see how
Oh,
women were falling all over this and you too as I mean, it was lovely. It was
mind
so
blowing.
amazing.
Mind
Yes,
blowing.
yes, yes. But you said, as part of this announcement, it was an announcement post on Instagram about your engagement and your pending marriage. You said, these past few months, I have reflected on my unexpected moments. How, when I embraced these unexpected moments, my life has gotten sweeter, richer, broader. Miracles I had anticipated or hoped would show up in one way came in completely different packaging, different timing, and different lots of things. But when I have strived, and you added, notice that the word strive signals it's not easy, when I've strived to embrace those unexpected opportunities, dash dash hashtag wow. So in addition to trust, we could celebrate that. And there's a lot to talk about there. I want to ask you about those unexpected opportunities that you have embraced. Can you tell us more about that and how that not just led you to Trent, but to a stronger testimony and a stronger belief system in God?
Oh, absolutely. Because in the paragraph before, it was like, I want to write a book about this one day, just because I feel like there's so much power and it not be about my life, but just hear the examples of where I want to boldly testify of this. I feel like I got to be an institute teacher years ago, teaching Old Testament, and I didn't understand a lot of it.
I was going to say, you got to be a Old Testament teacher. That doesn't
I
sound
was
like a
like, let's
privilege
just
to
do the
me.
summary. My takeaway through all the Old Testament is that the Lord asks some crazy things of people that are
Mm,
so illogical,
mm.
and makes no sense to the situations. It makes no sense whatsoever that Moses is going to walk up to the Red Sea and be like, I bet we're going to get a dry path out of that. Like, and not only a path, but like a dry path that we can actually not be stuck in the mud. Like, that's illogical. So many things over and over again in the Old Testament are illogical. And that headspace or that mindset, I think, has helped me recognize this is not expected. And there are so many situations in life that are not expected. Realizing that singleness was going to be a key part of my story, or just trying to come to grips with it in my late 20s, early 30s, of realizing, okay, this isn't what I had anticipated. There's a couple ways we could handle this, and there's a couple opportunities. And I don't like the outcome of a lot of those. And so how do I, in fact, after one broken engagement, a well-meaning person was like, oh, you now have so many options. The world, you have anything in the world. I'm like, I didn't want anything in the world. Like, the options are
I just need
paralyzing.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want one.
And this is the one that you've told me is success my whole life, you guys. Like, but it's been amazing to be like, oh, I can actually take advantage of this and rein this opportunity in, because I get different vistas. So, I mean, instantly in that is a mindset of like, when opportunities come that I wasn't anticipating, or broken, I'll even say even more so, it's the broken of like, this isn't fitting anymore. This
Mm.
doesn't feel like, I'm frustrated. What's going wrong? Why is those are opportunities to seek other things. And it's like, at one point when I moved to Boston, it was a pretty couple crummy years before I moved to Boston, where I had a broken engagement. I love teaching, and the teaching scenario I was in just was not working. And then I'd had a job at church headquarters, and that kind of got wonky. And I was just like, these are the things that I am. Like, I feel so broken and so lost. And then what am I failing at? Like, oh my gosh. But then realizing, wait, it transported me to Boston, and yeah, there was a lot of like letting go and being so scared of what was to come. And it was the greatest chapter of my life. Of I found out who I was in a whole different realm, in a whole different sphere, that I then got to hold on to. And I've done those in many chapters. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been brave enough to do a Boston and just quit my day job and not have a job planned out and go rent a room from a random family for 3 months and be like, well, we'll see what happens. So I'd had little ones and just realized, okay. And the more and more I've collected those of, this is not what I anticipated, but I'm okay with a relationship with Jesus Christ, who is a master navigator.
What a good word. Navigator.
Yeah.
From a practical standpoint, can you pinpoint, at least for you, the key to the let go? Like, we somewhat overuse the word vulnerability. Is it vulnerability? Is it humility? What's the key to that let go? Because we women like to hold tight. We
No.
have our ideas, we have our to-do list, we have our plans. What's the key to relinquishing your path to God?
Two things that come to mind are, I mean, I cry a lot. Like,
Right there with you.
yeah, like in this moment, I mean, I'm just crying to my mom. I'm in my parents' house again because I'm like, even though I just spent so much money and so many months decorating and recreating my little darling apartment in downtown Salt Lake City, I'm sleeping at my parents' house so much because I'm like, wait, I'm changing my last name. That's so fun and so let's not pretend it's not like the letting
Hard.
go is like cool, next chapter.
Yeah.
I cry a lot
Yeah.
in the letting go. Some people would say I just cry a lot, period, but a lot in the letting go. So I think acknowledging it is a death of a season.
You let yourself feel that.
Yeah.
You allow yourself to be there for a minute in that
Yeah.
sad space.
And
Yeah.
there is,
Yeah.
I mean, a beautiful young woman I know that just left on her mission made a beautiful comparison of the caterpillar turning to the butterfly, or even the flour, the bread flour, the baking flour turning into a cake. It has to let go of what it once was.
Hmm.
And that is sorrowful, like that. And so definitely feeling that, but also trusting. Like I think
Mm.
that's what for me the scriptures and my time in the scriptures and watching the lives of the people I love around me, I trust. I trust my God. A friend and I were laughing that like I'm not a shallow thinker, and so this has been a deep wrestle from the minute we started thinking this was serious. I want more in my life. I remember like thinking about Abraham and Abraham 1 and Abraham saying he wanted more righteousness, more happiness, more wisdom, more knowledge, and I want more. And I
Mm.
and I think that's what catapults me into the unexpected is I want more. And I've thought so much about the women of the church of all ages. I would love to be friends with Emma Smith. I would love to be friends with Rebecca and with Sarah. And how can I be friends with somebody if I don't have some sort of a similar depth of understanding?
Mm.
And they went through some things and they went through a lot of unexpected moments in their lives and figured out how to embrace them. And I want to be friends with them. And so I want to figure out how to do similar things in my sphere.
What a cool balance, Emily, because you're testifying of trust and yet you're describing a really like an assertive press forward. Like, I want, I'm willing, I'm going to, and there's a ton of trust that comes with that motion, I realize. Can I ask, I guess, almost the same question, but maybe in reverse? I think sometimes when life doesn't go as expected, there's this tendency, like one of two walls go up. Either we push God out, right? Or maybe we think that he is withholding something from us. But you've got this motto about choosing deliberate. And I'd like to know how you've chosen to see God's hand despite some things not going the
Mm,
way you expected or hoped.
yeah. I was telling a friend, I really hate the phrase falling in love because it feels like
You
you're,
do?
I hate it. I hate it so much
Because why?
because it's a falling. I'm not falling. Like
Oh,
a fall feels like I have no choice in this
out
conversation.
of
I'm a
control.
victim to
Yeah.
it, which then means I can also fall out of it.
Hmm.
And so I've been very shockingly deliberate and cognizant of the language that I'm using of like, I'm choosing him. I'm choosing
Hmm.
this. And to your question of how when things don't go the way I'd anticipated, yeah, for sure there's moments of like, you obviously don't care about me, God. This is not what I wanted. I do think there's a world of a deeper want. I think I have caught myself, and I wonder if we all do in many ways, with my high level wants to God without doing the deep dive of what do I really want? Is
Hmm.
that really going to satisfy me? And I truly believe I was in a conversation this morning about Oliver Cowdery and the invitation to him of study it out and then ask and don't assume I'm just going to give it to you. And the conversation I had this morning was like, well, studying it out means a variety of question asking and a digging into and then ask me, but don't assume that I'm just going to hand it to you if you haven't done the true work.
The work, which goes against the grain of our society. It's so instant, as in, say what you think now, describe what you feel in the moment. Like we have to have these knee jerk, or it feels like sometimes we have to have these knee jerk, not just reactions, but even belief systems towards certain ideas. And I
Totally.
appreciate your invitation and your testimony that there's power in marinating in these questions, thoughts, beliefs, whatever, but taking time to think before we act.
Yeah. And to dig in to be like, I remember years ago feeling like, yeah, I thought life was there's some mathematical rules when you do a math problem that have to go in a certain order. Like, you multiply first and then you add, or if it's in parentheses, whatever. And I thought life was this order of operations. Like, I think there's kind of this general mindset as a mass that, like, we do this and we do this and then this happens and da da da. And this is just kind of the general storyline we've told each other, which is not wrong for the like, if we're looking at the masses, but like, I can still get to the same end answer if I do the order of operations can be changed and the equation can be changed. And my journey is going to look so different. And my equation for that outcome is going to look so different. And realizing the outcome that I want ultimately is to be a woman of God, that I can stand boldly next to my Father, that I can stand on the right hand, that I can stand with confidence before my Maker and say, I did all that I could, and that I've molded and received the lessons you would have me learn, and that I know who I am. I know who you see me to be. And realizing, oh, all those things will happen because that's what God wants for me. But it may not come in the same order that it came from my mom or this woman, or that lesson is going to get learned. I came home from my mission early, and I remember talking to this woman who'd been my vocal teacher and was a grandma and whatever. And I was learning a lesson that she was just then learning. And I was like, interesting. We all get to learn so many lessons, but we're going to learn them in so many different venues and ways and seasons and
Yes.
the end goal. So then when I think about what do I want, I think I want this, but ultimately I want to be a woman of God. In this scenario, I'm so scared to leave being single. I love and I know how to be single really well. And sure, I want a hand to hold periodically, but I also am really good at doing it by myself.
I got this. I figured this out. I'm in a good group. I feel you there. Yeah.
And in fact, going to the temple, I was pretty ticked. Like, I was pretty ticked going to the temple a number of weeks ago and feeling like this is a life that you and I have created. And I think we've done a pretty darn good job. And you're asking, I feel like you're inviting, not even asking, but inviting me to put that on the altar for something else. And realizing, oh, the Adam and Eve story they go to the altar quite often. They're asked to go to the altar quite a bit. And the letting go stinks so much. And I don't want to be that daughter that has a father that says, I created this scenario. I've orchestrated. There's these interesting pieces that I've helped curate. Whatever it is, this one happens to be this chapter for me of marriage. I don't want to be the ungrateful daughter that says, but I'm not quite ready. Can you hold on to that one for a minute? I want to be able to say, thank you. Okay, I'll do the mental gymnastics to wrap my head around this. But we've been practicing that, I guess.
There comes that trust again. You know what I love, though, about this application is that, you're talking around something hard. Yes, a transition always is, but you're talking around a beautiful blessing that you've wanted.
Totally.
But the same values and principles and faith is required of things that are hard and difficult and not so lovely as marriage, right? So it's actually a really curious application for me that still applies in either scenario. But I love that you're applying it to this one because it just shows how purposeful you're being about your path, your personal growth. That's awesome to me.
Well, and I think one huge reason why I'm scared is because there's now another person. And another person can hurt. People hurt each other. Hermit life sometimes is so great. Because you're not hurt, but you're also not enjoying, there's all the things, all the joy, I recognize in order to have more means there's harder climbs to be had. And there's bigger pits to fall into, and there's more hearts involved. I now will have the two daughters are married and this wonderful 17-year-old, there's hearts involved to get to love and to potentially bruise on, unintentionally. And so how do you navigate that?
Sure.
But yeah, there's some crummy things that happen in life, period, because we do this thing called life together with humans, and it's hurtful and it's painful. But I do believe all of those things are in a more mindset of, I do believe Christ is a master navigator. He is the one that sees, oh, go up this way on this climb. I know it is a climb. And put your hand here or put your foot here or look up that way and you'll actually, oh, like, I do
Yeah.
believe he's a master navigator.
Yeah. And so we trust, and so we climb, and so with his help, we navigate. You are a beautiful soul to put it out there like that, Emily. Thank you. Thank you for being vulnerable. Let me take just a subtle shift. President Nelson has told us, has challenged us to seek and expect miracles. And for me, I think the first blush in that powerful invitation was like, wow, the expect part. Like, faith is always a marvel, right? So I can have faith and I can count on miracles appearing in my life. That's amazing. And it's actually the first part of his comment where women really have the most influence, as I thought about it, where we have a little bit of mortal control, just a little bit. Our prophet advising us to seek miracles. And seek is an action word, it's a major one.
Mm-hmm.
And as I thought about it, it just might go beyond. I mean, when I heard seek, I thought, okay, pray for him or maybe fast or something, right? That's seeking. But I think it might even go beyond that. And you seem like someone who throws a lot of action into how you seek. Like, again, that word deliberate action. You're out there hunting, you're working, you're foraging for miracles in purposeful ways. Let us learn from you, sister. How can we as women be better at the seek part of that promise?
That's such a fun. You're good at this game, Brooke, by the way, in case
Oh,
you didn't
gosh.
know. You could have a career in chatting
Stop
with
it.
people.
I'll pay you later. That's kind of you. Thank you.
For me, the word seek is mostly see. That's what comes up for me with the word seek.
Okay.
And it goes back for me to a covenant relationship with Jesus Christ as a master
Mm,
seer.
mm,
And part of my aha with the word covenant and covenant relationship is a mindset of and even the beautiful reality of the sacramental prayers of taking his name upon us. And the again, sixth grade mindset for me. I see that as like a sumo wrestler outfit, those Halloween costumes that are the sumo wrestlers that you're like way too big for, or like it's too
yes.
big for you.
Yes.
And it doesn't quite fit. And for me, as silly as it is, I feel like when I get to, through covenants, because he wants me to, and he wants to be in this relationship with me, he chooses me first and invites me first to put his name, to take his name upon me. I almost feel like it's that sumo wrestler of like, it's too big. I don't totally
Mm,
know how to do
mm,
this. I don't totally know how to move, but consequently I get to have his eyes. I get to figure out what his hand movement looks like, how to walk his walk. But no matter what, I get to have his eyes and I get to have the lens in which he sees the world, and I can see more. That navigational for me comes from seeing differently because of covenant eyes to see and using his eyes first. And then I think the expect part is like, you opted into this with me first, God. Like, of course you're in this for my good and for my growth. And there are miracles all over. Show me. And I expect you to do big ones for me as well. Like, as silly as it is, and I probably am jinxing myself, and we can all call me to repentance. But because I feel like this is this marriage story, I get to be a player in, and I'm choosing to participate in it and choosing to move forward with it. We're looking at a date at the end of October. It easily could be raining. And I'm like, no, it won't be, because this isn't my story to tell. Like, I'm just the teller of God's hand.
mm,
And so
mm.
this has to be a witness for so many people. And
Oh,
so if it is beautiful and bright, I want it to be a glorious sunset of power to glorify. And if it's rainy, We'll figure out another reason why. But like,
Then we'll celebrate the rainbow at the end of the day. Something,
exactly.
something.
Because
Yeah.
because the miracle is the gathering and the testifying of, I know this is heavenly orchestrated and many people making choices to trust.
Oh, I just chilled from head to toe to think of your story being a witness for others. And that's in part why we're here too, right? Is to show up and demonstrate that covenant relationship, that companionship, that navigational relationship to those around us as well. What would you say, Emily? I'll make this my in conclusion, even though I could talk to you for a whole other hour, sister. But for the woman out there who needs that boost, I'll go back to your really on par sixth grade visual of the sumo suit. Maybe she needs a boost to put on that sumo suit and assume those eyes or assume that view. For the woman who needs to embrace the unexpected and see the miracle and embrace the miracle maybe in more real fashion, what would you say to her?
Yeah, it bites. I mean, we all know this. I think remembering that we entered the lone and dreary world, like that's where we live. And that's okay. It is pretty. I think of the Willy Wonka movie, the new one, Wonka. And there's a scene where he's supposed to sign an agreement and the like fine print gets finer and finer and finer and just keeps on going. And some days I'm like, God, you were funny. I feel like that's what you just did. I feel like we signed the fine print and I don't know what I signed up for. So I think we are in a lone and dreary world. I mean, that is where we exist and that's okay. And I do believe this earth life was designed for us to have our own experiences to get to choose God. And I think the scriptures are filled with stories of men and women and what the consequences are when they choose to trust and when they choose not to. And we see that over and over again. And my invitation, I think, for all of us, because I'm in the same camp, is choosing to trust God makes the impossible possible. And the extraordinary, mundane, bizarre moments beyond powerful and glorious and divine.
Amen, sister. Thank you so much, Emily, for putting your heart out there, for sharing your story of not falling in love, but choosing love. And we wish you and Trent the very best. October.
Yep. End of October is the plan.
The best giggle, I think, as I'm looking over these beautiful comments on your Instagram of all the congratulations and all the celebrations, I saw Elaine Dalton simply state, "But am I a bridesmaid?"
I know. Of course, Elaine Dalton will be a bridesmaid.
Give that woman a flowy dress and a boutonniere. Or
I mean,
corsage,
27
because,
dresses. She can have her pick. Little Bo Peep, whichever she wants to be.
We love you, Emily. Good luck to
Ditto.
both of you. We wish you the very, very best. And thank you for sharing the best of your heart and testimony with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. And hey, before you go, we have good news for you. If you're a Magnify podcast listener, you get a special discount for the Lift Up Your Heart events coming this fall. So head to our website at magnifythegood.com/events. And when you go to checkout, enter the code podcast10. That's PODCAST10. Enter it at checkout and you'll get $10 off per registration. Which, hey, when you're at the events, girl math, let's use that toward going to lunch with our friends. This is a perfect event for you if you're feeling like you need to reconnect with Christ, enjoy the company of women who are like-minded, and be uplifted by inspiring messages, conversation, and music. I personally can't wait to see you there. It's going to be so much fun. As a reminder, Lift Up Your Heart is coming this fall to Plano, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, Idaho Falls, Idaho, and St. George and Salt Lake City, Utah. Go to our website for all the details, and don't forget to check us out at Magnify Community on Instagram. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We hope you have a great week.